Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an unboxing and review of this Rivarossi 4-card set. So let's get started. Alright, so let's begin with the unboxing. As you can see here, this is pretty well packed. It's in this amazing, beautiful, big red box. And it says right here, it is HO Prototypical Cars Santa Fe, prototypical in quotes. 4-pack, manufacturer suggested retail $139. I paid $75 for this with $10 shipping on eBay. This was new. I actually did open this up already and check the condition. Everything was perfectly fine. The paint was pristine and everything like that. So yeah, if we open this up. Now the reason I chose to do a quick review of this car is because I don't really see any videos on these cars, and I think they deserve something because I think they're really nice cars. Now, what you see here is that there's a nice white plastic with a clear plastic kind of insert that open up like this. And I want you to compare that to Walthers packaging, which looks like this. As you can see, very similar design, like that. Now, the reason I want you to keep note of this is because the Walthers cars were like this. These cars have so many similarities with Walthers cars, and that is actually because Walthers, I believe, they later purchased, Rivarossi's, at least these cars, something like that. Because I know for a fact that Walthers Trainline released this exact combine car in different paint schemes. So I believe Rivarossi is purchased by Hornby right now, but these cars and Walthers cars have so many similarities. I just want you to keep note of that, because Walthers is a really high quality brand. So yeah. Now one thing to note is that there they are. They came with these inside of these instruction manuals and stuff like that. There's a certificate of guarantee. I apologize, I can't really see what the camera's saying, but certificate of guarantee. You could pause to read that. Here's a Lima Collection Club thing, whatever. And right here, there is, let me just detail this real quick. There are 4 bags, and each bag contains the instructions, exploded diagram, and this bag of detail parts with horn hook couplers and a bunch of details. And yet again, Walthers cars also come with this detail bag, usually taped to the underside of the white plastic tray. They look something like this. I don't know if you guys recognize this kind of thing, but come with horn hook couplers and these detail parts. So as I said, very similar to Walthers cars. Alright, let's take each car out and get a close-up of each of them. Alright, let's begin with the RPO car. Now, RPO stands for Rally Post Office. And as I said, these cars are all prototypically 60-foot length. So, 60-foot scale, 60 scale foot. 60 scale feet, actually. But anyways, if we take a close-up at this, you'll see the paint is very well applied. Let me focus on that. As you can see, it's very nice. The windows, as you can see, are flush mounted against the side of the car. The printing on the Santa Fe is very nice, and you can see it's nice and shiny, which is really awesome. As far as separately applied details go, there are these mail hooks. These are actually meant for, so the car can be traveling, not stopping. They could continue going past without stopping and pick up mail, and also drop off mail. So these are really cool. They also did this thing, and as I said, most of the separately detailed parts will be applied yourself with these little holes that you see here. So these little dots, you're supposed to drill some holes and then put the metal grab irons and stuff inside. You'll see these all along the car, like these up here, etc. But yeah. So yeah, the sides look really good. If we turn to the ends here, now I don't know what this is. This looks like a foreign, like maybe European style brake lever, because you can see the American brake levers. And I will be taking this car out a lot because this is the Walthers car that I was talking about. American cars have this, sorry about that, round circular brake lever. So I've never seen this kind of brake lever before. It's not prototypical, but you'll see this on all the cars. On the diaphragm here, it is sprung. It is made of a slippery plastic, so it's nice and, well, shiny, which is not really realistic, but it's really nice. There's a door inside there, no windows. And then on the other side, it's very similar. The only difference is that they're a few chimneys. There's two of them, and also the things are reversed, so the windows are here instead of there. So yeah, but everything else, it looks almost identical. Same, the ends on this side is similar to the A end. The B end and A end are the same. And as you can see here, there is a Bachmann Easy Mate coupler. These are cheap plastic ones, which I'll probably replace with KD ones, well, until they break. So yeah. And then there's a extended swing coupler. As you can see, the coupler box swings much further than usual. On the other on the underframe, excuse my English, you'll see there's definitely detail. And it's not amazing or outstanding, but this is more than enough for me. This actually reminds me a lot of, as I said, Walthers cars. In fact, if we take the Walthers car here, if we compare them, they look, well, besides the placement of details, as far as like the detail parts themselves go, they look very similar. You know, so yeah. There's definitely detail, which I think is enough. So if we want to take a quick look at this, there's the battery box, there's generator, there's the brake rigging inside. Here's a few air tanks. Here's some steam traps, 1, 2. Here's the brake cylinder. And yeah, if we take a closer look at these trucks, you'll see that these wheels look very similar, as I said, again, to Walthers cars, which I'll bring over here. They have the same metal. The wheel itself and the axle is plastic, and you see the plastic axle is tapered. So this is a little thicker. It gets a little thinner as it gets to the end, the middle, and then it gets thicker again when it gets to the end. And same exact thing on the Walthers car. So as I said, these trucks look very similar. The only difference is that these trucks are plastic, as you can see. Which, I mean, it's fine. The only hindrance of plastic trucks is that it's harder to add electrical pickup if you want to add lights, which I do plan to add, so they'll kind of be a pain, but it should be fine. As you can see here, these are die-cast trucks. These are actually metal sides, so those pick up power much better than these, but these will work for now. They are a slippery plastic. Again, it's also made of the same plastic that the diaphragms are made of, so the wheels are not, they're really free rolling. They're not going to stick up at all, so yeah, it's really nice. Now, one last thing I want to note is that there's actually 2 holes. You could put the screw in here, or there's actually another hole around, like underneath the truck here. I'm not talking about this hole. There's basically there's 2 places to mount the truck. There's like one here, and there's one about right there underneath the center axle. So if you wanted to, you could mount the trucks closer to the ends, and that will come back later to be very important. But for now, that's just something to note. Alright, so that's the RPO car done. Let's move on to the baggage car. Alright, and here's the baggage car. I'm going to go through the rest of these really quickly because they're all very similar. So yeah. The baggage car, as I said, same paint, same stuff. There is no interior for the baggage car. That's actually something I forgot to mention. The RPO car does have an interior, and you see there's a little mail sorting places, and the mail sorting containers, I'm sorry. And yeah, that's pretty much what you expect from detail for Walthers or high-end, any other high-end car. So yeah, very good. The baggage car, however, doesn't have anything. At least I don't believe. It's also very hard to see, so I honestly could not care less. I don't think anyone looks inside these tiny little windows. So yeah. As far as detail goes, very similar. There's these stirrup steps all around. These stirrup steps don't interfere with the truck. That's also actually the other thing I forgot to mention about these RPO cars is that these steps extend outward from the car, and that's so these trucks have more space to swivel. These don't have that issue because these are outside of the truck's weight range, so it's okay. Same ends, the diaphragms. The diaphragms also sprung, the weird brake lever, and then there's no windows on these doors on the ends, as you can see right there. As far as the underframe goes, this is actually the exact same underframe as the RPO car, right there. So nothing special about that. Alright, let's move on to the next car, the combine car. Alright, next up we have the combine car. Now, combine is a term used for passenger cars with 2 or more sections, I guess you could say. So in this case, it's baggage, coach. Now, there are combine cars for like baggage RPO or other, combinations, but this is probably the most common baggage and coach. So yeah, if we take a closer look at this, as you can see, there's also a much more visible interior with a bunch of seats. Here's a bathroom in the back over here, and there's a wall right there, so you can't see inside here, and nothing inside the baggage compartment. Um, same paint and detail, as I said. Um, Interesting else is Rail Express Agency here. It might be also RPO. I don't know. Anyways, if we look at the ends here, they're a little different. As you can see, there's actually a window on this door. Um, and yeah, there's this is a different but also same extended swing coupler box, same diaphragm, also sprung, and then you see on this side there's that weird brake lever. There's no brake lever on this side, interestingly. And on top there's these little knobs. I don't know what this is. This looks like it's modeled after the Pennsylvania Railway cars, which do have these little knobs on top, but these are really small and strange looking. Anyways, on the underframe, there's a little variation. As you can see, this is definitely different from the underframe of those cars. These definitely look a little more sparse as far as details concerned. Same steam traps, some cylinders, probably air tanks, more air tanks, and the brake, the brake rigging. Similar. And here you can see the underframe. You can see that there's two places to mount the trucks. So it's it's there. So those also have it. It's just hidden from the truck. This you can see more clearly that there's two places to mount the truck. Now, why they have two? So you can put these four-wheel trucks onto those cars, and you can mount them to different places. They look a little better because if you mount these four-car trucks onto here, they would be like they'd be here instead of where it's supposed to be, which is over here. So you have a little variation as to where you can mount trucks, which I think is really nice. Because otherwise I'd have to drill my own holes. But yeah, so these are four-car trucks, very similar. Also plastic, and the wheels are the same. They're really nice wheels. Same thing over here. And which is odd. One thing that's odd is that these actually don't extend from the side. They're flush mounted, so this truck has a little less swing pivot movement than the RPO car over there, which is interesting. All right, and the last thing we have is the coach. All right, last we have the coach car, which is basically the combine car, but with the windows going to the end. Very similar, very noticeable interior. There's a little bathroom, looks like back there, a little restroom over here. As far as the underside goes, they look exactly the same. The ends also have the windows on the end. Sorry about that. The diaphragms are sprung. So basically, if there's coach, there's a window on the end. See, both ends have a window. And if it's a baggage on one end or RPO on one end, there's no window. And if there's a coach, as I said, if there's a coach, there is a window on this end. So it's an interesting thought. But yeah, the roofs are pretty much the same. There's little random dots. And as I said, the underframe's the same. So these are two very similar cars, and those two are two very similar cars. But yeah. Now let's go to our final thoughts. All right, so now I want to talk about my final thoughts, which is also the prototypes of these cars. So none of these cars are based off of any actual prototype, but I do want to just, I don't know, I guess explain what I'll be using for them. So this car is, to my knowledge, the closest prototype to a Santa Fe heavyweight RPO car that there is that's not made in brass. Brass cards usually cost $200 to $300. However, they are super accurate. In fact, if we compare it to this brass card here, this is made by Pico Rivers Brass. You can see that it's also 60 foot long. It has 6 windows, 2 doors. These doors do have 3 windows each, and the trucks are 2-wheel trucks. Now, these trucks are actually very Santa Fe RPO trucks had really unique trucks that were only really used for those specific cars, and they are made in HO scale. Now they are. But they cost $60 a piece, and they're made by Coachyard and also Precision Pico River Brass. So I'm not gonna pay $60 for trucks, quite frankly, because this car is close enough to me at least. So yeah, as you see, the car is very similar. It even has the single battery box on one side, like there. So for me, it's close enough. I'm just gonna swap the trucks, this 3-wheel trucks, for those 2-wheel trucks over there, and I'll call it a day. This is probably the closest you'll ever get to a Santa Fe RPO car, so there you go. Now, this car here reminds me a lot of a New York Central 60-foot RPO heavyweight car. These were used commonly by New York Central. In fact, here is one right there. This one is made by Intermountain or Bethlehem Car Works. Um, they are also made in brass, and it looks very similar to this, so I'll just use this as a sample. I don't know if you can see that. Basically, it's the same car. The main difference is that the doors are placed a little bit closer to the edges of the cars, and also one door is 5 windows. It's actually two doors. It's a 3 window door, oops, and a 2 window door. 3 window door and a 2 window door. And it's close enough. I will repaint this to a New York Central paint scheme, and I'll probably call it a day. I'll also swap the trucks, 3 wheel trucks again to 2 wheel trucks. And yeah, these trucks are actually correct for this car, for New York Central RPO. Or New York Central baggage cars. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do with this. As I said, the doors are a little too close to each other. They should be farther apart, like right there. And also this door should be 5 windows, but I don't really care. I think it's close enough. As I said, it's really hard to find. The only non-brass, as I said, for New York Central baggage car is Bethlehem Car Works / Intermountain, which is right here. But those are super duper rare, so I'll probably just stick with this. And these two cars, are not based off of any prototype as far as I know. The closest they resemble is a Pennsylvania car. Reason being are these little dots. In fact, Pennsylvania Railway combines look like this, and you see there's these little dots. Those, I believe, are vents on the roof. But yeah, I believe Pennsylvania Railway are the only car company or train company that uses these little dot kind of like vents on top. And since these models have them, they remind me of the Pennsylvania cars the closest. If you remove the dots, they also look like, I don't know, New York Central had a similar combine and coach car. They also look like Rutland cars, or I believe Southern even had some cars that look like this. So I guess they're pretty standard. However, these are too short, as you can see at the combine car. And also New York Central and other prototypes are all 70 foot or greater car lengths. I don't really believe any railroad had 60-foot car length combine or coach cars. Most of them had 70 or longer cars. So these, I don't believe, have a particular prototype, and therefore I actually do plan to sell these two cars because I have no purpose for them. But yeah, so I probably will just swap the trucks and I'll probably sell these off now. So as far as value goes, I paid like basically $80 for these cars, 75 plus $10 shipping. So you could call it 85 or you call it $75 for the value. Um, I could pay like $200 for a brass car for this, and probably like $100 for a Craftsman kit for a New York Central baggage car. That'll probably cost $300 total. I chose to just buy these two instead, so it saved me, I think, in the long run, quite a bit of money if I wanted these cars. I can sell these off for about $50, $15 a piece, so I'll probably get $30 back. So I probably paid more like $50 for these two cars, which in my opinion is totally worth it. If you're not looking for prototypicality and you're just looking for the quality of these cars are amazing. I would highly recommend them. Their build construction, design and quality and detail are all top notch, far better than their old Rivarossi cars. But yeah, I mean, with the operating diaphragms, the extended swing couplers, the body mounted extended swing couplers, as I mentioned, the metal wheels, the free rolling trucks, the interiors, these are top notch cars. And if you like them, I'd highly recommend you get some. Now, they are kind of rare, and you only really find them on eBay now these days, which, in case, you will find them for about like 100, like 80 to $100 for a 4 car set. So it's a pretty good deal. Yeah, I'd rate these really high. I don't have a rating system in my channel, but if I did, I'd rate them 10 out of 10. I don't think they could be much better for the price. And I mean, yeah, there's really nothing disappointing about these cars. I didn't check the coupler heights. There might be some other, minor issues that come up after running them. After running them for a while, maybe something comes up, but I doubt it. These remind me a lot like Walthers cars, and Walthers cars have proven to basically last forever. So, yeah, I'd highly recommend these cars. If you want some, I'd go get some. And yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and